Good evening. Hopefully everybody's up just scrolling and vegging out on their phones, watching live videos and Facebook talks. Man, it's been a really, beginning of the year has been fast. It's been a lot of work, a lot of buyers, a lot of sellers coming up, so it's been pretty cool. But what inspired this topic was I've been working with some friends of mine who are buying a property, and the negotiating has been miserable. I mean, it's just like pulling teeth, I don't know. It's been a brutal negotiation. And so they're buying a property that's pretty cool, and it's a good location, but realistically, the value of the home that we're ending up buying it for is just too much. But because the supply and the demand of what my people are looking for, it's difficult to find what they're looking for. They need space. They want a certain location that affords them the lifestyle that they like, which is to go for walks and to have, plenty of parking for guests and work, and having people over for fellowship, for church fellowship and just friends and hanging out. So, to find all these features, it really limited them, because we looked in other locations, but we found some cute and cool houses, but we're like, yeah, it's just not it. So, I said to them, the friend in me saying, market-wise, we're spending too much. Market-wise, we're spending too much. Friend-wise, I don't want to see you spend more than you should. I said, but realistically, in the situation we're in, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to find something comparable to this, okay? Especially in better condition. And if we do, it's going to cost us minimum 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand more. So even though we're paying maybe 10 grand more than 10 to 15 grand more, I don't think it's 15, but let's say 10 to 15 grand more than we really should, to them it was valuable. And I made that very clear to them. I said, I grieve, I cringe when I think of having you spend this much because of the market. But at the same time, what I'm doing right now as a friend and as a realtor is telling you what the value is. I have a video bomber. What the value is to you. And that's because the value at, let's say, 115 to you, right, is going to be, I don't know, it's not going to be worth it for somebody else. Okay. So the point is, what we learned was, I said to them, look, to find the same property, to find a house in this location is going to cost you 30, 40, 50 grand more if it were updated and better maintained, even though we probably have to do 10 grand out of pocket just to get it to the market value that we're paying, or the price we're paying for the seller. It's worth it to them. Okay, and I told him that. I said, you're paying more than you should according to this market. Now there's market value, which is, the market means what people are willing to pay. Then there's replacement value, which is if you were to build that house from, the ground up, what would it cost, right? So then when we get appraisals, we'll get market value, and we'll get replacement value. Okay, and so to replace that home in that location would cost a lot more in this market. I mean, exceptionally more. And to find something else in this market, even though it might be better, it's going to cost us too much more. So anyway, they understood that, and I said, because I want you to know, like, later you'll go, oh, I spent too much. Yes, we did. But to you, it was worth it. To you spent extra, but it saved you in the long run, because it would have cost you a lot more to buy something else. Now, another thing too, I used the example of a relative of mine that I sold a property to, and I said to them, look, we're spending more than I really want you to spend, but I don't want any competition to come take it from you. Number two, to find another home this size, it's approximately 1,900 square feet in the Bay Area on Lamar Park for under $250, $275 even. It's so hard. So we paid more than we wanted, more than we coulda, shoulda for the market. But to us, it was more valuable than spending 20, 30, 50 grand more for something bigger that we didn't need. So anyway, cost versus value, replacement value, market value, and just determining what the value is to you. We've all learned that some people value some things more than others. I might like certain jewelry and I'm willing to pay more for it than, let's say, someone else who doesn't even care. So bottom line is, when you're buying a home, why should it pay that? Well, you're right, but that seller, in our situation, that seller will just sit on it, rent it out for, a while, and then sit on it again. And then someone else comes along when we're not quite ready. So, and he's just going to wait till he gets what he wants. And, other sellers are more motivated and more, usually less self-centered. Usually there's a reciprocal relationship between the buyer and seller, but in this case there wasn't. The seller said, I don't care if the roof's bad, I don't care if there's rotting fascia, I don't care if the doors are cracked, I don't care if it's filthy, I don't care if the walls are cracked. And we're like, are you for real? We're paying the top dollar and you don't even care. He's like, I don't care. And I'm like, okay, whatever. The do unto others as you'd have done to you just doesn't apply here. But once again, it's worth it to them. It's valuable to them. It's worth this extra money to get this home. Does that make sense? Anyway, have a great night. The things you love, they're worth fighting for. Oh, I just summarized it. Okay, that was cool, right? Okay, good night.